Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it's July 8th, 2021, and another garden update. I thought I'd just start out here and just mention the gooseberries that we've been doing the simple layering with. They've been doing fairly well so far, so we'll just walk down the line. I haven't done anything new. I haven't added any more mulch yet, but you can see how well the gooseberries are doing. They're coming up and putting on new growth, so pretty happy with that. So a lot of those lateral stems that I laid down, some of them pop back up. So this one popped back up, so I may go ahead and relay that one down. But as they're laid down, they're sending up their new shoots and doing more growth, so pretty happy with that. I see some wood sorrel in here and some other weeds. I've got to and quack grass over in there. I've got to pull those out. I really haven't spent any time in the gardens. Well, I have spent some time in the gardens. I'll explain some of those things in a couple moments, but I'm mainly working over there in the nursery area, trying to get that organized and taking care of a lot of the pots that are over there as well. So I created a small work area. I'll probably make an update on the nursery area soon. Let's go into the western garden plot. It may not look like I weeded in here. I did weed probably close to a week ago in here. So here's the cauliflower. Not too much going on with this. We have one that some slugs got to over in here, and we have the cabbage moth. Their larvae are chewing a bit on here, but otherwise they're doing pretty well. And again, I need to do some weeding. The honeyberries have been doing very, very well. I have to come in and reweed again in this area. But the honeyberries produce some really nice berries, and there's been lots of new growth this season. So real happy with how they're doing here as well. The blueberry bushes have been doing fantastic. Thea probably got a gallon of blueberries yesterday. We're getting more blueberries out of these baby blueberry plants than we are out of our blueberry plants that are out in the food forest. One reason is these guys, the soil has been amended appropriately with peat moss that I did over a year ago, and these guys aren't being fertilized at all, but they've been doing great. But the deer aren't getting to these ones because of the kennel panels here, so that's made a huge difference. The ones out in the food forest, the deer go and munch on. They aren't irrigated in the food forest. It's been another very dry season. We got a little sprinkle last night. 1/100th of an inch is what we got. But Thea's been harvesting blueberries from this area. The red currants are doing pretty darn well as well. They've all put on lots of growth this season, so looking forward to this fall and all. The broccoli Thea's been harvesting all along. I can see there's more broccoli. She's planning on coming and harvesting more broccoli today as well. The scarlet red runner beans this is the first trellis that Thea planted for the scarlet red runner beans, and they have been doing fantastic all along the way. Again, I have to do some more weeding in this area. And again, scarlet red runner beans on this side as well. The lupine have all finished their flowering now, and we're harvesting a lot of their seeds. So we got to come through here and get a lot of these before they completely open up. Seems like we're always really harvesting in the gardens is an everyday event that should happen every single day. And unfortunately, Thea and I are still so busy that we can't get things done that quickly or that consistently every day. Maybe that'll improve some for next year. So she came through yesterday and got a lot of the blueberries out of here. And I haven't cleaned up around the weed mats at all this season. And when I'm weeding, I just throw the weeds right on the black weed mat, and that fries them when the sun's out. Now we got lots of overcast today. We should get a little bit of rain today. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten the rain where Thea works in Syracuse. They've gotten poured on several times, and we got 2/100ths of an inch. I think it was last week or the week before, and that's it, unfortunately. Oh, I did get the hydraulic hoses in. I put those on the tree puller, and I got the flat face female coupler for the rototiller, so I'm going to try and get those pieces of equipment working. So thank you, Prime Attachment, for taking care of those things, getting them to me so quickly. I appreciate it. Now the central garden plot. Even that small amount of rain that we did get, this is the second growth phase of the comfrey that really has helped out a lot. Now again, we get the drips coming off even though it's a small amount of rain or condensation that drips onto this area and waters this area enough as well. Tomato plants have been doing great. We haven't harvested any yet, but there are the tomatoes there, and there's tons of flowers as well. So really happy with how well our San Marzano tomatoes are doing. Pretty exciting. Our banana peppers have been doing really well as well. So they're all looking good. Again, these were put in here on June 1st. The broccoli over here, Thea's been harvesting that as well. Cauliflower, we haven't had any cauliflower come up yet. Thea went ahead and weeded the red onions. That's been taken care of. Both rows here. I came through the other day and hilled up the potatoes, and what I used was this is the decomposing hardwood bark, and so I bought that this season. I've gotten 2 loads so far. I'll probably end up getting a 3rd load. A bit expensive, $325 a load for 10 yards, but it's good enough. The extra weed, so this is all wood chips, this whole area, and it was probably a foot, maybe 12 to 18 inches higher than what it is now when I first put the wood chips in here. And so what I did do, I ran the tilther over it, and you could see that the wood chips have broken down really well. And this is what the wood chip material broken down looks like. And so I came through and I pulled out the weeds in the area. Then I ran the tilther over it. And then as we were weeding the other areas, Thea weeded the carrots recently. I took all the weeds and I just laid them on the surface here so that they would completely die. So these are all dead. Now some of them may start to come back, like the quackgrass here. All it needs is a little bit to get its, well, this is one that I didn't get out before, I see. But if they're on the surface and we have some nice hot dry days, especially if the soil surface is pretty black, it'll break down. So one of the things I've thought about doing is putting another small short bed over in here for some of the perennials that we do, the hardwood cuttings and all. So in order to prep for this, the perennials really like the fungally dominated soil, so the wood chips really help with that. So using all the weeds, that's a lot of extra nutrients that can get broken down and put in here. And I was planning on putting some alfalfa down here, alfalfa pellets, and then putting cardboard on it and then mulching on top of that. We ran out of cardboard because I did that area right over there. When we get over there, I'll show you. So I don't have enough cardboard to do this area yet. We did get some alfalfa pellets. And so I have to think about, do I really want to do this? Because I'd like to be able to have some more perennials and be able to propagate more of the hardwood cuttings over in this area here with relatively minimal input on my part, because when we had probably a total of 2.5 feet deep of wood chips, it's broken down now to about maybe 10 inches of soil on top of the existing soil that was here before, 10 to 12 inches. It'll break down probably another 2 inches, but I thought with sheet mulching and then putting more nutrients, some alfalfa pellets down in here, extending irrigation over into this area as well. So those are all the things that I've been thinking about. So we'll see if I actually accomplish that this year. Seems like I always got grandiose dreams, but not necessarily the people power to get it done. It's really enjoyable these overcast days, and it's nice and cool this morning. A great relief from those heat waves. So this area, when I did these potatoes, these are the blue potatoes here. So when I did these potatoes, I didn't use any paper products or anything else in this area. I just used the decomposing bark from hardwood and all. So it was, I think it was ground twice, ran through like a chipping process twice. So the next trellis here, we have the Scarlet Red Runner beans started up on both sides of this trellis. This was the second trellis that was planted for the Scarlet Red Runner beans. Thea came through and weeded all of the carrots here and did some thinning. We still have to do more thinning. So some of the areas that were so thick, some of the weeds overtook some of the spots. So Thea will lay down a small little weed mat section in the center like we did before with the leeks. And the carrots seem to be recovering because all of the carrots that are planted in here were transplanted from carrots that were over here. So we watered it twice yesterday just to keep them in pretty good shape. So real happy with the carrots. We want them about every 2, maybe 3 inches apart ideally. But we'll give them a good week to 2 weeks to see how well they come back, because some probably won't make it. And I know transplanting carrots is a real tricky thing, but we've done it in the past and it's worked out, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. I see I've got some more quackgrass started over there with the Scarlet Red Runners. The kidney beans in this area here, I'm not sure what happens to some of them. And it might be the cats chewing on them or something, I'm not really sure. And we do have the raccoons in the gardens every night as well. So we've got some more weeding to do over here. These are the russet potatoes. There are some blue potatoes over there as well. So this area here, I went ahead and hilled up with some more of the hardwood bark, mulched up, ground twice. So these potatoes have been doing pretty well so far. Over here we have some more of the pepper plants. In here, these are the banana peppers. Lots of volunteer locust trees started up. Oh, the kiwis, the hardy kiwis. Can we show any of the fruit? The birds are going after them like crazy right now, and they aren't completely ripe. Let's see. I don't know if these are going to show up. But the birds even eat these things before they're ripe. But the moment they get ripe, boom, they're gone. Just like the mulberries. Tia's gonna harvest more mulberries today. Or the cherries. They go right after those cherries like crazy. So far the beans, and then we have some red Russian kale as well. And more of the lemon balm, volunteer lemon balm. The not sage, oh my God, rosemary. Rosemary planted in here. I need to mulch around here. We have rosemary planted all along in here as well. That's doing okay. That's all we started from seed earlier. More rosemary in here. You can see the plants looking pretty good so far. Unfortunately, in our climate, the rosemary doesn't last that long. It won't survive our winters. I keep hoping someday we'll get some that will survive our winters. This trellis, as I've mentioned before, we're just having the Scarlet Red Runner beans on it this year. We used to do lots of our Sweet Georgia candy squash and our blue Hubbards in different locations as well, but we've really cut back this year. And so the Scarlet Red Runners are on this one, and we have some other medicinal flowers as well. Our sweet potatoes, they've recovered from these are all chives along the edge here. The sweet potatoes have recovered from the deer munching them down. I know I haven't gotten fencing up yet. The strawberries, boy, we lost probably 90% of our strawberry plants as a result of the drip irrigation getting shut off on us. Not working. The Orbit timer. He's going to try and come out and do some weeding out here in our strawberry bed. But man, it's really heartbreaking. All those strawberry plants that were here are not making it. Our citrus, which I screwed up by bringing in the house, and then we had the scale and and the mites on them, pruned everything back. So we've got a couple that look like they're going to make it, and that's about it for these guys. Most of our strawberry plants in here, we got 1, 2 that looks like they might make it, maybe 3 or 4 that might make it. We're gonna have to re-weed this whole area again, and again, this didn't get irrigated during that time, so it looks like we've lost just about every single one. Now there's just a couple. So this is the high bush cranberry hardwood cutting, but just about all of them dried right out as a result. So here's one more here, but most of these have dried right out. These are our it's too moist to soil to weed right now. So these are the hostaberries, Jostaberry, and in the back there we have some of the Illinois mulberry hardwood cuttings that are looking okay at this point, considering all facts. So here we are with hopefully these are showing up, and I need to come in here and do some weeding as well. So we have a few of those that are going to make it. And as I said before, and this is a red bud, a volunteer red bud right here, nice nitrogen fixer. I'd be happy if I only had 5 or 10% of them make it. So far it looks like I'm going to be pleased with the Illinois mulberries. Those are our favorite mulberries from the trees. Really, really amazing. So this area here, and I may post a video because I did shoot some video of this. But we did get a load of wood chips from our tree service gentleman who drops off wood chips, and I've been using sheetrock and cardboard and all of our paper products that we've been collecting to rebuild the soil in here. And I may make a video. I've started a video about it, but I haven't completed it. And we got the horsetail completely overcoming a lot of the black currants in here. But if you look, here's a black currant. Let's see if there's another one in here. They get overrun, unfortunately, and if they aren't getting enough sunlight. So there's another black currant. So it looks like it's taken out just about every other one. Here's another one right there as well. So unfortunately, things do need to be weeded. You can see some of the black currants here. And they're a real hardy plant, and not too much of the wildlife like them. I don't want to take out all of the Pennsylvania smartweed because the Japanese beetles preferentially go to these. So there's a Japanese beetle right there, and they're going to go for these Pennsylvania smartweeds over anything else. But I do want to top these off in the next week, because these are going to go to seed, and they produce tons of seed. So I actually like having some of those on the property in different spots to draw in the Japanese beetles and keep them off of the other areas as well. So there are still some. Here we are. We got some real nice looking black currants down in there. And Thea did harvest a lot of the seed from the lavender and the sage. I know she did it from the sage. And she's been harvesting lavender in the dehydrators as well. And now there's still a lot of flowers on the lavender, so the bees, I don't know if you could see them, the bees are flying around these ones right now. So between the sage, the thyme, and the lavender, the bees are always abuzz over here in this area. So that's our garden update for July 8th, 2021. Pretty happy with how things are going. I've been spending a lot of time getting things ready for clearing out our property, removing things and selling things, which has taken up a great deal of time, and trying to work over there in the nursery area as well. So that's our garden update. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. If you found this video of value, please give us a thumbs up, share it with your friends. And I hope everyone's enjoying their gardening experience and things are working out. My heart goes out to those in those really arid locations where these heat waves are going on, and the water shortages as well. Well, you folks take care and have a super fantastic week. Bye-bye now.